If you're stuck at 30% body fat, do this to get lean. Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Diamonds and I'm the founder of Sculpt by Science. I've never told this personal story before. I'd been training for months in this video, but I couldn't get rid of this belly fat. I thought I had my diet in check, I was hitting my calories and macros, I was training 5 times a week, my cardio was on point, and months later, no progress. I was convinced it was my metabolism, 200 pounds and over 30% body fat. My chest would grow and my arms, but that stubborn belly fat would just never come off. I could never get lean. My client James was convinced that it was his age that was stopping him from being able to seize abs at 59 years, and he was doing 2 hours of cardio. To him, at 33 years old, started at 172 pounds, and once we had our first conversation, I quickly identified why he was stuck at roughly between 20 to 30% body fat. And once I made the right changes, he dropped down to 149.9 pounds, sitting comfortably at 12% body fat. I've been stuck at 30% body fat, and so have all of my clients. In this video, I've compiled 5 reasons why this happens and the science-based approach to become unstuck and quickly start seeing results. But before we dive in, a lot of research and editing goes into making a video like this. Just do me one favor, if you wouldn't mind, gently hit the like button. It'd be greatly appreciated. And if you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you're new. Let's kick it off. You're stuck at 30% body fat, and it's very likely that you've put in all your efforts into your nutrition and to your training and still no results, and I can imagine that feels very frustrating. And over the last 365 days, I've had conversations with hundreds of people in a similar position. Track their calories, they've been in a deficit and still no results. The number one reason I see that people don't see results is what I call metabolic positioning. Now, we all have a thing called our TDEE, which stands for total daily energy expenditure, and that is equivalent to our calories out, and that consists of 70% of our BMR, our basal metabolic rate, which is all the calories our body burns at rest. That includes your heart pumping, that includes your lungs breathing, that includes just overall the energy your body's spending at rest. Now, for 15%, we calculate our non-exercise activity thermogenesis, also known as our NEAT. Now, that's all the calories your body burns just moving around, fidgeting, maybe walking to the bathroom and back, and cleaning your apartment. For another 10%, we have what we call our thermic effective food, which is the calories needed to digest all the food that you're eating on a day-to-day. And finally, we have exercise activity thermogenesis, which takes about 5%. With that being said, when you've been in a diet for a very long time, these different factors tend to downregulate. Your BMR decreases because you've been eating very little food, and your body starts to adapt to that amount of calories that you've been putting in. You start moving less with your NEAT because your body's trying to conserve energy. You're eating less food, you'll be eating less, and therefore you'll be having a lower thermic effect of food. And finally, you will also be training suboptimally, also consequently decreasing your overall exercise activity thermogenesis. Now, what to do in this case? You've been maybe eating 1700 or 1500 calories, maybe even sub 2000. My recommendation is, when you've been doing this and you're not seeing any more results, it doesn't make sense to cut your calories any less. If you go from 1700 to 1500 to maybe even 1200, what is the point? Is it sustainable? Is it worth doing? And usually this has bad consequences. So this is my recommendation. Go back to your maintenance calories and do that at least for 1 month. This will allow you to reset your metabolism. It's going to allow you to reset your BMR, reset your NEAT. You're going to feel more energetic, improve on your thermic effective food, and also improve your training because now you have so much energy. So I have a lot of clients when they come to me and I'm like, hey, you're going to be eating a lot more food in the beginning. It sounds daunting, but it pays off because they've been allowed to reset their metabolism. So I highly recommend, if you have been dieting for a long time, you're eating very little calories, and you found yourself in a stalled position, then I highly recommend going back to your normal maintenance calories. And I've done this with so many of my clients. It is not your metabolism, it is not your age, and it's not your genetics that is stopping you from losing fat. You've just put yourself in a compromised metabolic position, and you need to improve that. With that being said, if you want me to help you with that, I know you need guidance because I have even been in that position in the past, the first time I did this. So if you want to work with me directly, you're someone who's looking to be at peak performance in terms of your energy levels overall, and in terms of peak performance in your job and at home, do click the link in the description, and that will fill out an application to be able to work directly with myself. Now, the second reason why I see a lot of people not seeing any progress in terms of their body fat percentage and they're stuck is what I call underestimating their calories and doing so severely. So there's a 2002 study that released, and they took 2 groups. Group 1 is a group of experienced dietitians, and group 2 was a group of inexperienced people who've just never dieted before. Now, the results were super interesting. The experienced dietitians overestimated the caloric intake by over 223 calories, and that is enough on a day-to-day basis to put you out of a caloric deficit. But what was even more interesting is individuals who were not experienced in tracking calories overestimated their calories by over 400 calories each and every single day, and that is enough to put you in maintenance. And imagine you've done this for an entire month and you're working on your diet but not seeing results, and that is just because you're not doing the basics, putting your food on the scale and properly tracking the amount of food that you're putting in your body. It is very easy to overestimate the calories that you're eating. Let me give you an example. I am showing you 2 rice cakes. However, one rice cake has 150 calories more of peanut butter. 2 bowls of oats. The bowl of oats has roughly 200 to 250 more calories in terms of the number of oats, and according to your eye test, it's very difficult to track. So this is my recommendation. If you're going to go in a deficit and if you want to get the results once and for all, then track the food that you're eating, use a food scale, and make sure that you're not just wasting your time and being sure that you're eating the correct amount of foods. And this way you can get to your result once and for all. Something that I also see is what I like to call hidden calories. It is very easy to accumulate 100 to 200 or 300 extra calories through adding extra oil onto the pan before you cook, by adding all these sauces onto your meals to give it flavor, and then finally adding on any salad dressing or any of these hidden calories, or even having one piece of your partner's chocolate bar can accumulate these total calories. And it's very easy to finally kick yourself out of that 500 caloric deficit because you weren't tracking accurately. So a quick recap: I highly recommend using a food scale and making sure that you're inputting the right foods and that you're eating the correct portion. Number 2, it's very hard as human beings to estimate calories. Number 3, watch out for the hidden calories in your foods, such as the sauces, such as the oils that you're putting in, and even the dressing. And doing so, and just even taking little snacks from your partner here and there, can accumulate. The reason number 3 that you're probably not seeing results is cheat days. Cheat days have been very popular in fitness. It is almost the way you get to thank yourself for doing a lot of good work for 6 days, and on the one day you get to have an off day. I recommend a cheat meal, but not a cheat day. Let me explain. The mistake I see people doing is, number 1, is cheating too frequently. So having 2 to 3, maybe even 4 cheat days within the week, and that will put you easily out of a caloric deficit. You may be in a 2,000 caloric deficit each and every single day, and then on your 7th day you eat about 4,000 to 5,000 calories at the end of that, diminishing a lot of the work that you'd put throughout the week. Do this enough times and then you'll stop seeing results. So cheating too frequently is a common problem. Having a cheat day instead of a cheat meal can hinder your progress. It is easy to overeat. I do give my clients a refeed day where I tell them, hey, you can have one off-plan meal and not have 3 burgers. Just have 1 burger with a fry and that's it in one sitting, but don't overindulge. You want to have it controlled and you want to have it once. But I have a video with the science of cheat meals and how to go about it. All my clients that I work with have a burger or pizza over the weekend once they've been able to follow the specific plan that I've built for them. So I highly recommend watching the video in the description. This is going to show you exactly how I set this up. Let's move over into tip number 4. Tip number 4 is dropping calories too quick. I've seen this very often. I am impatient, and as human beings we are very impatient and we want to see results quickly. Even according to plasticsurgery.org, the second most practiced surgery in plastic surgery is liposuction, and that's after breast augmentation. Individuals want to be able to get rid of their fat very quickly, and it just makes sense. Hey, why not do 1,000 calorie deficit a day, get to my result quicker, and then I can get my 6-pack. However, it does come at a price, and that has to deal with the way you feel in terms of your hunger and how full you feel on meals. So what tends to happen is you diet aggressively, your motivation is high. However, ghrelin, the hunger hormone, spikes, and when your motivation wavers, the weekend hits, you have maybe a drink, or you're just craving that slice of pizza, and that tends to put you in a binge eating episode. Feel regret the next day, you diet hard again, and you fall in an endless yo-yo of dieting very hard and then going through a binge eating episode. And I have experienced this myself. When I first did this, I was very restrictive with my diet. I was very aggressive, and I dealt with the precautions, and that resulted in 10K challenges and 20K calorie challenges, which tend to hurt your metabolism and also pack on more fat tissue. So what happens is you will maybe eat 1,500 calories, but end up at a 5,000 calorie binge on the weekend. Do that enough times and you're doing harm to your overall metabolism. So I highly recommend to do it once, but to do it right and to be patient, and only do a reasonable caloric deficit between 20-25% of your maintenance calories. This will allow you to make adjustable changes, and that can be sustainable to your mental and physical state, and it will also allow you to hold on to more muscle tissue over time. And then tip number 5, the most common mistake I see is doing too much cardio. Now, over the time on this channel, I've highly spoken of walking, and the main reason for that is because it's sustainable. It's something we can all do 365 days without feeling the effects of being extremely exhausted, without feeling the effects of damaging our muscle tissue because of the impact that we're doing in terms of exercise. What I've seen in the past is individuals doing very high intense forms of cardio and doing so consistently 3, 4, even 5 sessions. Now, you can do that when you're trying to compete. You need to step on stage and your priority is fat loss. However, in the long term, it is very difficult to sustain a high impact type of cardio like running or doing something very intense consistently. At some point, your motivation will come down and it won't be sustainable, and also it does have an effect on the amount of muscle tissue you do hold on. My overall recommendation for cardio is start at 8,000 steps every 2 weeks, increase that by 1,000 steps, and yes, if you want to do HIIT, incorporate one session within the week of 20 minutes, maybe incorporate 2 sessions of 20 minutes, and then finally into the future 3 sessions. But I highly recommend first tapping out, and when you realize, hey, I don't have any more time to walk, then incorporating those tools. Again, doing too much HIIT isn't the worst thing that you can do. However, you want to be gradual with it and you want to implement it accordingly so it's sustainable for you. Research has shown 2 sessions at 30 minutes to be the most effective. According to a research paper, it shows that you drop in dramatic amount of size when you're doing more than 2 sessions a week that is longer for 30 minutes. But it's those 5 things that I've seen consistently that stops people from seeing results. But I want to know from you in the comments, what do you feel you've done in the past that has stopped you from seeing results, that has had you stuck at 30%? And I want to hear from the comments because it's going to help a lot of people. Tell me your story. If you did enjoy this video, hit it with a gentle thumbs up. And if you want to work with me directly, you're a busy professional, you've tried this before, maybe you feel like because of your age, your genetics, or you've tried many different diets, there's no hope for you, I am there for you. I will help you, and I've done this a number of times with people in Sculpt by Science. With that being said, you can fill out the application in the description below. I am looking forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.